everybody. How's it going? Ben Gothard here, CEO of Gothard Enterprises and author of CEO at 20, a little book for big dreams. And today I'm going to continue with my series on how to write a book. I'm pretty excited about this whole series. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, I'm going to be taking you step by step, giving you my process of exactly how I write a book. And by the end of this whole process, I'm actually going to release a book. And if you follow along the whole time, you will be able to release a book as well. So today, we're moving away from mindset and we're going to talk about target market, right? Because just as a business requires customers, so does your book, okay? And so we're going to talk about specifically what is a target market, right? So at its very core, a target market is the group of people who you are going to sell to, right? So at its most basic, most broken down definition, a target market is a group of potential customers that most accurately represents the people that you want to sell to, right? So these are the people that either they're the best ones for you to sell to, meaning they're the easiest for you to sell to, or you have the most in common with them, you can relate to them, you're part of the group, so you just know more about the group, right? And so that's what it is at its core, okay? But I want to talk about specifically your target market is the group of people who you want to provide value to, okay? Now let's talk about providing value, because providing value to your market is critical. Albert Einstein once said, "Try not to become a man of success, rather become a man of value," okay? And the reason is that people truly do not care about your success, but they do care about the value that you can provide to them, right? And so if you're trying to go after a target market, and let's say the market that you're going after is entrepreneurs, right? It's a very vague market, but for this example, it's going to work. Entrepreneurs typically don't care about hearing about you and the things that you're being ridiculously successful about, right? That's just, they have their own lives. Everybody's busy. But what they do care about, and what most people do care about, is what you can do for them, right? And so the more value that you can provide to your market, the more value that you can provide to other people, the more successful that you're going to be in your endeavors, whether it be writing a book, whether it be building a business, whether it be trying to do anything, right? Providing value to others is critical, okay? So when you're thinking about the people who you want to provide value to, in other words, your target market, right? You need to think about these few questions, right? Why would they read your book versus any other book on the same subject, okay? Now, this is a huge, huge obstacle for most people. See, most people think, well, I can't really provide anything new. I can't provide anything different. I don't have something revolutionary that I can share with people that is going to set me apart from the crowd, right? And that is where probably 90% of people give up, right? Whenever they think about their target market, they think about what they're going to sell or what they're going to offer or what book they're going to write on, right? They don't think about the things that they're the best at, right? And so take your own life, for example. Nobody else can be as good as you are at being you, right? Let me rephrase that, because I kind of stumbled through that. But you are the best person to be you, right? You're the best version of you, okay? And nobody else can be better than you at that. And so when you're putting your own spin on things, when you're presenting yourself, your product, your brand to your target market, utilize that. Tap into that. Tap into what makes you special, what makes you unique, what makes you different, what makes you different or better, preferably different and better, right? And so it doesn't have to be monumental, right? It can be an incremental improvement that when you bring it to market, it's just incrementally better, and over time, incrementally better is still better, right? And so you can make slight improvements. Again, it doesn't have to be revolutionary, right? So let's stay on the topic of target market, okay? When you are deciding, like when you're first figuring out what is a target market, again, it is the people who you want to provide value to, right? That's what we're gonna focus on right now. And again, it's providing value to those people. Why would they read your book versus any others on the same subject, right? Most people give up here. Most people give up here. And what I say to that is, don't give up, right? If 90% of people are going to give up at this one spot, by getting through this, then you're ahead of the game. You're ahead of 90% of the people, because most people will not get creative. They will not say, again, most people will not get creative, and they won't say, how can I do something a little bit different? How can I do something a little bit better than my competition in order to reach my target market, in order to provide more value to my target market? Okay, so again, what is a target market? It is the group of people, the group of prospective customers that you want to provide value to. Okay, now the question then becomes, how can you differentiate yourself from the competition? All right, and to that, I want to quote you Bryant H. McGill, who is a best-selling author, top social media influencer, and United Nations appointed global champion. Okay, Bryant H. McGill. And he said, cultivating your value proposition in life is the way to move forward. You are the raw material of your own destiny. Now that's powerful. That's powerful, right? But how does it exactly relate to a target market, right? Because you have to think, how can I cultivate my value proposition in order to reach these prospective customers, right? The readers of your book. How can I cultivate this value proposition? And that is something that you're going to struggle with. Everybody struggles with it. Nobody just wakes up one day and is like, that's my value proposition. It doesn't happen. You have to figure it out. You have to build it. You have to create it. You have to embrace it and become that, right? But once you do decide, hey, this is what I think I can be the best at, or this is what I really want to focus on. This is where I want to become an authority. All right, great. Now you have a value proposition. Now you have something that can set you apart when it comes to relating to and reaching out to your target market. Okay, so again, providing value is critical, right? And the people that you provide value to, you got to think, why would they read my book or work with my business versus any other book or business that's my competition, my direct competition, right? And how you do that is by establishing and presenting your unique value proposition to that target market. Now, later on in the series, we're going to talk a lot more about marketing and branding and positioning, but this is a good thing to keep in mind when you're thinking about your target market, right? Because I actually want to take you through the steps of how to build your own target market, okay? And it's really important to understand yourself and your own value proposition before you really reach out to others and you try to share that, right? And it could be through rapid experimentation, a variety of techniques that we're going to talk about, okay? So, again, what is a target market? Prospective group of people, of potential customers who you are going to sell your services to and or provide value to. I say and or because some people do it, some people don't. If you don't, you're probably not going to be successful because you need to provide value to your target market, okay? So not only is it the people who you want to provide value to, but it's the people who you can provide value to, right? And there's a distinction. The people who you want to provide value to, right? You could be very intrigued by fishermen and women. You might Okay, I think we cut out there for a second, but you might want to say, hey, I really like catering to people who fish, I really like the fishing niche, right? That's the people who you want to provide value to. But then at the same point, they're the people who you can provide value to, right? If you are a brilliant mathematician, chances are you're going to be more likely to be able to help people interested in math versus people who are interested in fishing, right? It's just how it is. It's just recognizing, being self-aware, okay? So let's talk about the people who you can provide value to. Not only the people who you want to provide value to, but the people who you can provide value to, right? Because the interlapping, if you think of it as like a Venn diagram, and it's people who you can and people who you want to provide value to, then there's the overlapping circles. Right in the middle, that could be your target market, okay? But let's talk about this question right here. Are you qualified to provide value to these people? Okay, I'm going to repeat that. Are you qualified to provide value to these people? Okay? And this is something that a ton of entrepreneurs struggle with. I struggle with it myself, right? Because there's a lot of self-doubt that comes up when you ask that question. There are a lot of things that maybe you don't really want to deal with, you don't want to think about, you don't want to face when you ask yourself that question, right? Am I qualified to be providing value, providing information to other people, to be guiding them, right? And that can be broken down again. So let's break that down. In regards to books, I want to talk about the fact that there are tons of different types of books, right? And so can you provide value to these people? Well, it depends on the type of book you want to write. And again, this goes back to self-awareness, okay? So, for example, I'm knowledgeable on writing, publishing, and marketing nonfiction books, right? That is what I've done in my previous 15 books that I've published. So that is what I feel comfortable providing value on, okay? Now, the reason that I feel comfortable providing value is because most people have not published 15 books. Most people have not published 5 books. In fact, most people have not published any books. So I have done things that other people have not done in that one specific area. And so I want to give value. I want to provide value in the form of sharing my experiences, talking about the process, guiding people who have not done that yet, and sharing with them what has worked for me and what hasn't worked for me, right? And so instill that into your own life. Implement that into your own life, into your own situation. What have you done that most people haven't done? Are you a dancer? Do you fish? Do you like to knit? Are you a really good baker? Like, can you just make incredible cupcakes or something? I don't know. Whatever it is, hone into that. Tap into that. That is what you might be able to provide value on that other people just can't keep up with you on. Or maybe some other people can keep up with you, but a ridiculous few, okay? So, again, I'm very knowledgeable on nonfiction. Now, when it comes to fiction, and just a quick little teaser here, I actually am currently writing a fiction book, and I'm not going to give you much on it, right? Not going to talk about it too much, but it's going to be a scary story, right? It's going to be awesome, hopefully. But again, I haven't written fiction books before, so I'm not going to give information. I'm not going to give guidance on that particular area because I don't have experience doing it, right? At least not yet anyways. So, by the way, this book, I'm not going to tell you what it's on. It's going to be super scary. Not going to give any other hints, but if you do want to know more about the book, you can reach out to me privately, and we can talk about it a little bit. I'll describe for you the cover. It's going to be pretty cool. Anyways, I digress. So, not only do I think that you should focus on the things that you are truly experienced in or knowledgeable on or passionate about, but I also think that you do not have to be an expert in order to pass along information. Okay? Now, this is kind of a conflicting or a debated topic, right? A lot of people would say, before you give advice on something, you better be an expert. Okay, great. You can, that's one side of the argument. The other side of the argument is, if you have experience in something, share your experience, and hopefully by sharing your experience and by being open and transparent, other people can benefit from it. They can get value from your experiences, your trials and tribulations, and they can avoid some of the mistakes that you made, and they can benefit from the things that you have done from your experiences, right? And these are very personal because everybody has different experiences. Everybody has different skill sets. And it is important to note that nobody is ever going to be able to replicate your exact life and your exact experiences. So you're going to have something unique to share, right? And again, it comes back to being creative, really figuring out what that was or what that is. But to my point that you don't have to be an expert to give advice or to provide value, right? Let's talk about some people who are experts and then some people who aren't experts. And let's dive into this, right? Let's talk about Tony Robbins. The dude is brilliant. Okay, I have not had the pleasure of meeting Tony Robbins. Hopefully one day I will. But he is a world-renowned motivational speaker, life coach, brilliant author. He's slaying the game, right? He's an awesome person. He's done a ton of good, okay? He has probably at least 20, 30 plus years of experience in business, okay? Building companies, speaking on stage, writing books, coaching people, okay? He is totally an expert. Tony Robbins is totally an expert, right? So the things that he's knowledgeable on, he can share that, and it is very impactful to other people, right? Because he knows so much more than the average individual, and he can share that with other people and provide an insane amount of value, okay? By the way, he is worth a couple $100 million because of the value that he has built of himself. He's a very valuable individual, and he's built that by focusing in on those core competencies, okay? Now let's talk about another person, right? Tony Robbins is world-renowned. I'm not going to say most, a lot of people around the globe know who Tony Robbins is, okay? But then there are experts who are more locally known, okay? And that, just an example of that would be my dad, right? My dad is a statewide known attorney in Louisiana. He might actually be known outside of Louisiana, but for the sake of the example, throughout the state, people know my dad, my old man. And he has had 30 plus years of experience as an attorney in personal injury law, medical malpractice, and telecom, right? And he's done some litigation too. He's actually done 30 plus years of litigation. So he is a brilliant attorney. And he is totally qualified to be an expert. And people should definitely go to him and get his advice on the things that he's an expert on, right? And he's an expert in a very specific few core competencies, right? And so to relate it back to the target market, which again is your prospective group of people who you want to sell to, your customers, your potential customers, his potential customers are the people that need his exact services, right? And he knows the people that need his services because he has the skill set, right? And because he has the skill set and he's focused on this one skill set, he knows the people that can benefit from this, right? If you go get in a car accident, my dad can help you out, right? That's just what he does, right? He's an expert in that. But let's say you have a bridge that needs to be built, and you need to figure out the engineering plans behind it, and you need to find the optimal stone or steel quality and type and size and dimensions. My dad would probably not be the person that you want to go ask for that, because that is not his specialty, right? That is not like the thing that he focuses on. That's not his skill set, okay? And so that goes back to your target market, because what is a target market, right? It is the prospective group of customers that you can provide value to. Okay, well, what are you going to provide them value in? And that is really the core of the message today, is understanding what you're going to provide them value. Okay, so we talked about Tony Robbins, we talked about my dad, and now I want to talk about, I'm going to use myself as an example, right? I'm not very well known. Some of you, I know you personally, and thanks for watching. And some of you I don't know as well, but again, thanks for watching. But, I've had 2+ years of experience in entrepreneurship and personal development, right? I have built and am currently running like 4 different companies, okay? And so I have experience in a very, very small, specific area. Am I an expert? Hell no. Hell no, I'm not an expert. I would never call myself an expert, right? I think that to call myself an expert would be arrogant, okay? But what I do think that I have is experience, and that is what I want to. That's the core, right? That's what I want to share with you, is that you have experience in something. You've been doing something for however many years you're alive, and so you're good at something. A lot of people say, I'm not good at anything, I can't do this, I can't do it. Okay, well, if you're going to have that negative attitude in the beginning, go check out the mindset part, right? We're past that. We're focused, we're doing it, okay? Tap into what you're really good at, what you're the best at, and really think about it, right? And these are tough freaking questions. These are tough freaking questions to ask yourself. What am I good at? What do I want to be an expert in? What do I want to be an authority in? Okay? But if you want to write your book and publish it and have it make waves and make a splash and be a bestseller, right? These are the things that we really need to tap into and we really need to harness. It's understanding who we are, what our core competency is, and what we can offer to a group of individuals. That is our target market. Okay? That is our target market. The people who we can offer value to. Okay, and again, it's a overlap of the people that we want to provide value to and the people that we can provide value to through our core competencies. Okay, and so let's talk about you for a second. Okay, it is scary at first to think about giving advice to other people on a certain subject, right? Let's say you love biology and you love studying cells, and that's just your thing. You know a lot about cells, okay? Well, if somebody were to come and ask you for advice, or maybe somebody needs to be tutored in biology, or somebody just has this like question about biology and they need to know about cells, and it's a dire situation, that's kind of a lot of pressure to put on you to say, hey, I need this information, I need to have it, give me this information, please, right? For you to impart your knowledge and to give of yourself, to give and share your experiences to others, not only is that intimidating, which we've talked about before, but there's a lot of pressure, right? Because what if I'm wrong? What if I lead this person down the wrong path? What if this? What if that? There's all these what ifs. Clear them out. Clear them out, right? They are not important. What's important is that you make the effort to help, right? What's important is that you share your experiences, that which you know is true, okay? Now, if you have a wild theory and you're going and telling people who don't know any better and you're manipulating them, it's a whole different story. And that's not what I'm preaching at all. But what I am saying is that if you share your experiences with somebody in an attempt to help them out and to better not only them, but the situation as a whole, right? If you can better the whole situation by sharing your experiences, by giving of your knowledge, by providing that value, then the people who you're providing value to, your target market, right, your potential customers, they're going to be better off for it, right? And so it doesn't matter how well known you are. It doesn't matter how many years you've been doing what you've been doing. Are you an expert? Maybe. Do you have experience doing it? Yes? Great. Share that experience. That is value. That is what you can give to your target audience, right? Your target market. And the people that you're trying to reach, your potential customers, they're not going to just buy like something that they don't believe in, right? And so I wouldn't worry so much about, oh, am I going to say the wrong thing? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? No, because when you do say it, when you do put yourself out there, you'll find that most people really don't care at first, right? You have to consistently be there, consistently share your experience, consistently take people on a journey with you, and then they'll be more invested, right? And so, what is a target market? It's the group of people who you not only can provide value to, but who you want to provide value to, who you share your experiences with, you're sharing your value with, you're providing value to them, you're giving to them, in the hopes that one day, by building those relationships with people, by constantly giving, they will give back to you. Okay? They will give back to you. Okay? So one last piece of advice that I want to leave you with is that you don't have to be 12 steps ahead of somebody in order to give advice, in order to share your experiences and benefit them in some way. Even if you are only one step ahead of somebody else, if you can help them take that step in their own life, and you can help them and provide value to them in some way, somehow, that is good enough. In fact, that's great, because that is better than what most people do. Okay? Most people don't take the time to try to help other people. And if you give of yourself and you share your experiences and you recognize that there is a group of people who can benefit from this, there's a group of people who can benefit from what you're trying to say, aka your target market, right? And you're going to go far. You're going to do great things, and you can do great things. And there's nothing stopping you from doing great things most of the time besides your own limiting beliefs. Okay? And so if there is one resounding message, not only in this video, but in this whole book, this whole series, and everything that I preach, it's that you can freaking do it, right? And I know I'm sounding like Shia LaBeouf, like, do it, just do it, right? But seriously, like, think about it. If you're trying to do something, and you haven't figured out what you're trying to do, and you figure out the steps that you need to take to do it, then the only thing left to do is to take massive action towards that goal. And if you can do that consistently, and you can think through the action that you're going to take before you take it, and so you're doing it intelligently, and you work hard, again, consistently, intelligently, and hard. If you just put forth a lot of effort and just do it, you can achieve great things. You can achieve incredible things. So dig deep, right? Bring it from within you, right? Maybe you're not an expert in something, but I can guarantee you that you do have skills, you do have talents, you do have experiences. Maybe you have stories. You have something to share with the world. And when you start sharing and you start giving of yourself, and really I want to focus on that word sharing, then the group of people who can benefit from what you are sharing, that core group of people, of individuals who like what you have to say and they want to keep hearing you say it, that is your target market. That is the group of people that you want to be dealing with. You want to be building relationships with. Because when you build relationships and you give to your target market, this group of people, right, they one day will hopefully give back to you. Okay? And it is not a good idea, in my opinion, to think about, I'm going to give you this and you're going to give me that, and it just be cut and dry. They might not want to give you whatever you want them to give you, right? Just because you put out a video and you charge $500 for it doesn't mean people want to pay you for that. But if you look past the money, right, and you think, what can I truly offer my group of people, my community, right? Because that's what you're essentially building. You're building a community. You are assembling people for the purpose of giving to them, either sharing your experiences, telling you stories, whatever it may be that you're giving. You're giving them something in the hopes that one day, maybe, they might give you something back. And so if you approach it like that, and truly try to understand what a target market is, right? Again, it's this group of people, the prospective group of people who you not only can provide value to, but who you want to provide value to, and the things that you are saying resonate with them, and they can benefit from listening to you and from absorbing your message. That is a target market. And that, once you've identified that thing, right? This group, this core group of people, and you've built relationships with them, that is something that nobody can take away from you. That is something that nobody can take away from you, and that is an asset that you will have forever. It goes past writing a book, right? It goes past building a business. It's life. It's building a lifetime asset. It's building relationships with real people, okay? And so at the end of the day, that is what I think a target market is. That is how I approach the subject of, or the question of, what is a target market. If you have some other ideas of what a target market may be, I would love to hear them. Either leave a comment below or send me a message, whatever it may be. I would love to hear your definition of a target market, right? So I'm just going to leave you with this one thought. And that is the thought that doing all of these things, right, and really digging deep, figuring out what the hell a target market is, right? Because it may not make sense right now. It truly may not make sense right now what a target market is. You know, I've taken these past 30 minutes to try to explain it the best I can, but for some people, it just might not click right away. But figuring these things out and digging deep and really bringing forth this effort from within you, tapping into what's inside and really figuring this stuff out, will make you a smarter, stronger person, first of all. And second of all, it will allow you to truly connect with other people. When you give to somebody, when you give of yourself and you share your experiences and you tell a story and people actually care and people actually want to hear it and it can benefit them in some way, that is powerful. Not only for them, but for you. But for you on the inside, right? Think about when you talk and you're really, truly heard. And it takes a long time to build up a big enough community of people who actually care about what you have to say. But when you do, and you put forth that effort, that is rewarding. And that is fulfilling. And that is something that you've done that nobody can take away from you. So I challenge you to do these things that I'm saying to do. Figure out who you want to provide value to. Figure out who you can provide value to. Figure out what that value is that you want to give them, whether it be sharing stories, sharing experiences, giving knowledge, whatever it may be, and truly focus on that relationship, giving to them and giving to them and giving to them time after time. Okay? That's what a target market is. All right, everybody. Y'all have a great day.